Firefighters are always on hand to help in an emergency or to save lives, whether people or animals. When a firefighter and his team in Colorado Springs were notified that 8 puppies had been seen in a roadside drain, he had no idea that it would be a big mistake to rescue them. Animal rescue was a common report. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. The firefighters had saved quite a few animals, from a cat trapped in a tall tree to a dog entangled in barbed wire. However, the team had no idea that they were about to make a big mistake, so the firefighters were used to puppies. The sound of the sirens reverberated through the streets as the firefighters went to the reported location as quickly as possible. Puppies can quickly become hypothermic and starve to death. The men knew from experience that they had to be quick. In this case, time was not the most important factor, but rather the environment where the puppies were located. The team soon reached the drain and began to pull out the small animals one by one. 8 puppies were howling in the drain, probably looking for their mother. The firefighters looked around, but she was nowhere to be seen. So, the team had to make a decision they would soon regret. After the puppies were taken out of the drain, the firefighters looked them over and agreed that they are Labrador puppies. They decided to take the little ones to the vet. When the vet took a closer look at the 8 puppies, he was startled. He turned to the firefighters. The vet said that the puppies were not Labradors at all. They were baby foxes with a dark coat. The firefighters were stunned. They realized that it would have been better to not help the babies. The mother had probably wanted to hide the little ones. Now she had lost her offspring. The firefighters had to act quickly. Everything went fast. The firefighters returned the little ones to the site, hoping that the fox mother would return. Hours passed. There was less and less hope that the mother would ever show up to take care of them. The firefighters had to make a difficult decision. One thing was clear: the young foxes had to be taken care of. Because it seemed that the mother fox had decided not to return, the babies would need to go to an animal shelter. The little ones had to eat or they would starve. The 8 little foxes could not take care of themselves. The decision was made. An animal welfare organization, the Humane Society, had been observing the animals for a while. Members of the team brought the animals to a veterinary clinic and took care of the little foxes there. After a while, they would be released back into the wild. There was one thing that the people of Colorado Springs learned from this story. The media reported on the fox's story and how the firefighters had mistaken them for puppies. "This is part of living in Colorado," said Michael Areta on CBS 4. "The boundaries between wildlife and pets can be a bit blurry, and this has created much confusion in the Springs. However, one thing is clear. The firefighters had the best intentions for these little ones. They will get bigger and one day will be strong enough to be released back into the wild. Though the foxes have been rescued, that doesn't mean this is the end of the story." When the firefighters first brought the foxes to the vet clinic, the vet said that there was a chance that the mother was still around. He thought that the animals should be returned to where they had been found. The firefighters eventually agreed, so the team went back to where they had found the foxes. They put the babies back in the drain. This time they stayed nearby to see if a mother or father fox would pass by. The fox is a smart animal and often only appears at night. During the day, they avoid crowds and mainly sleep. So, it seemed that the firefighters would have to wait until nightfall, but then there would be little chance that they would spot the mother. Unfortunately, the firefighters did not see a fox after waiting all night. Still, they remained hopeful that the mother would come looking for her offspring in the morning. This species of fox, the red fox, is the largest fox species in the world. Normally, you could hardly miss them. After waiting all night and morning, the firefighters still hadn't caught a glimpse of the mother fox. The firefighters heard the cries of the foxes from the drain. The sound went straight to their hearts. The team's patience had started to run out. They decided to rescue the little ones anyway. They didn't want anything to happen to the babies. The firefighters walked back to the well and started taking the foxes out one by one. Then they took the babies to the animal shelter. It was a wise lesson for the firefighters, plus they have a fun story to tell their families at home. Overall, the story had a happy ending, and those animals ended up safe.